So my most recent tutorial has been outdated by a couple of strats. Most of what it says still applies, but I figured I'd record another one just to get everything. So let's get started. So you start timing at first frame of movement. I do it with a minus 1.2 timer, and I start my splits when the screen fades to black after loading your manual save. So after mashing through those text boxes, I'm gonna run towards these vines. Wanna slice 2 times, and when your second slice hits, you wanna jump forwards by holding ZL and forward and tapping X. So you can see here, jump forward. It was a bit unoptimal here. Could have done it maybe 0.1 faster, 0.2, 0.1 I think faster. And anyway, just wanna hop forward. It makes it so you don't have to watch the final half of the slashing animation. Here, I'm gonna try to run towards the middle of the pedestal and then press A right about here before you step up. And just wanna watch this cutscene. Once that's done, just hold sprint and jump. When you can see Link starting to sprint. Then when you get about here, you wanna start crouch sprinting. I'll talk about crouch sprinting in the end of this video. I'll make a timestamp of it. So if you don't know what it is, just skip forwards and then come back to this segment. So right here, what we do is called a crouch up or muzzle jump. So what you do is you crouch, then press X. And if you do it at a ledge, it will retain the speed. And as you can see, it even retains the speed a bit in the water. And just saves a little bit of time. It's faster than diving because the diving animation is really slow. You want to avoid getting the diving animation as much as possible when jumping into water. Here we just crouch sprint, making sure we have enough for one wall jump. Jump up this wall and press X to wall jump. You can, ideally, jump a bit more right here, and it will cause Link to do a little bit of a step up, and you won't have to wall jump. It's really inconsistent though, so I just recommend going for this, because I think that this strap maybe saves like 0.3 or something, and it's way inconsistent. Here, do the same thing, crouch jump off. I did a bit unoptimally here. If you get a really good one, you can land so Link doesn't even get into swimming animation, but that's fine. Then here, yet again, crouch jump off. And the Q here is a bit hard, but you will see, like I don't know if you can see it that well on the video, but on your console you definitely will. You can see where the water is more shallow and where it's deeper. It's like a pretty good line you can see. You want to land right on the edge of that. And Link will basically not even swim at all. And here I dive a bit early, so loses a little bit of time, but I still get up pretty fast. Just keep crouch sprinting. Go to the right here. If you go towards the middle, Link will get a step of animation, which is slow. You want to make sure that when you stop crouch sprinting and start full spoof sprinting, that you have enough stamina to jump up here. Then, right when you're not above ground anymore, you want to start holding R to dive. If you do it above the ground, you'll just pull out your weapon to throw it. There we go. Now, during this cutscene, you want to hold up on your left stick, straight up. You want to hold R, and you want to hold slightly down right, or down and slightly right on your right stick, so that when this animation stops, you'll see Link starts diving and turning the camera. And once your camera is lined up with this lily pad, you want to do a jump slash by pressing B and Y. B and Y. And once you're above the lily pad, you want to start holding R again, so you dive. Then right as you land, press crouch to cancel the fall damage animation and sprint immediately. And jump off. Then you want to crouch sprint down these stairs. Make sure not to go to the right here, it looks like it's a better line. But you will get a lot of airtime of these ledges and that loses time. Just crouch sprint till you get your full stamina back and then start sprinting. Trying not to get any airtime or step ups. And grab this branch. After you grab the branch, you want to start crouch sprinting. Hop up this ledge. And trying to optimize your stamina, talk to this guy. Now, here is where French saves a text box. Right here. French, it's only one text box. In English, there's two. So after picking up the purapad and mashing, you get to this animation, cutscene. And this is basically your cue to start holding slightly up and slightly left on your left stick, a little bit left on your right stick while sprinting. And do that. You get a good alignment here. Turn, and then ZL up on your left stick and jump at the same time. If you want to make this timing easier, you can hold slightly, hold any direction, just slightly on your right stick, and that will cause Link not to turn when pressing ZL. But I do it this way because it's a bit faster. You don't have to make sure you're holding anything, and it's not that hard if you practice it. So after doing those inputs, you want to press R. So you can see, I can go frame. Press R to start a dive, finishing the dive. Press B to cancel that dive, and then press Y while holding backwards from where Link is facing. Do that. 1, 2, 3, just keep going. Here, I fail the input, because I forget to press, or I press Y too fast. I press Y and B on the same frame, I think. This is pretty bad. I lost maybe 3 seconds to this. Optimally, you want to do like 1 or 2 more of those and land right here in this little lily pad cluster right here. Let's show the queue here, but it's fine if you land it. It's usually fine if you land on the lily pad. If you land in the water, you lose like a bunch of time. So usually I would reset here, but I kept going. So the queue is basically this pink flower. I'm gonna land on this pink flower just about. I'm gonna start crouch sprinting. When you get to full stamina, I'm gonna start normal sprinting. Then start crouch sprinting. This is basically what I think is the optimal like movement way to just sprint. I'm not sure though. There are ways to make it a bit faster, but they are very hard and inconsistent. And if you fail them, you lose time to just doing this. Just do that. Jump up this ledge and try to optimize your stamina usage. So you have about full stamina when you get right here. And right here, you want to sprint and then jump when you go slightly into the water. The reason you want to be slightly in the water is because if you were to jump right here, you would initiate a dive. And as I said before, dive animations are really slow because Link has to like jump up and then go into the water, then he goes under the water. It's just really slow. So just wait a little bit with your jump until you're in the water. You can jump a little bit earlier. I do jump a bit late there, but it's fine. Then you want to start stamina swimming until you hit about this part of the wall. You want to hit this part of the wall. If you go here, you'll have to climb up, but if you go here, it's just a step up. So just run up this hill, crouch, sprint, and sprint, using your stamina as best as you can. Then when you get to this wall, make sure you have enough for one wall jump. Jump at the wall, and then Link will get this little extra hop. As you can see. If I go back a little bit. Get this little hop, and then just press X and run towards this construct. Hit the shield 4 times with the Master Sword. You don't have to hit it 4 times. The important thing is that your 4th hit with the Master Sword connects, and that will stun the construct. Then you want to jump. Press D-pad right to open your weapons, and then switch to your tree branch. Run forwards and press Y at the same time, or walk forwards and just mash Y basically. So you start hitting when you're next to the construct. Then hit it 4 times. You can see here, he starts a spin attack. It's RNG what he does. I think there's like maybe 4 possible things he can do, but if he does a spin attack like he did here and you don't run towards him, he will be too far away from you to hit him. As you can see, he goes backwards when he initiates it. So you just want to make sure you're hugging the construct when you start hitting it. I will drop his sword and his shield and pick those up. Run towards the Temple of Time here. Optimizing your stamina so you have about none left when you examine this door. One thing to keep in mind is that if you're just about to run out of stamina, and you have like a thing that will reset your stamina, like a door or something, an NPC, I don't know. You want to make sure not to use all of your stamina, because if you use all of your stamina, Link will start moving slowly immediately. But if you stop using your stamina when it's just when you're just barely out of stamina, he'll like keep his momentum a little bit. So after that, after skipping that cutscene, you just wanna run straight left, making sure not to run into this construct, because that will slow you down. And just crouch sprint. Here, the only optimization you can do is just running in a straight line. You can either sprint jump off these ledges or do a crouch jump, like I showed before, by pressing crouch and X right about here. Uh, I don't know if it saves any time. It saves like maybe just a little bit of time, but if you fail it, it loses time. So I just go for sprint jumps. And right here, make sure you have some stamina left and jump. You might think that I'm jumping a bit early here, but you actually do want to jump about maybe one or two, maybe two links away from this railing, because otherwise you'll go into a dive animation. So you want to jump and then shield surf as you hit the water. This causes a buoy bounce, and basically it just shoots Link up into the air while retaining his speed and allows you to get a bit more distance while jumping into water if you have a shield. Yeah, so you wanna do that, get up on this lily pad. If you don't have that much stamina left while climbing onto this lily pad, don't start sprinting immediately. Wait a little bit like I did here, just to be safe. And then run, jump, and shield surf. If you somehow manage to lose all your stamina here, it's not that big of a deal. You can shield surf down this slope. And yeah, optimally though, you want to keep your stamina, but it's not that big of a deal if you lose it right here. So just crouch sprint over to this, try to hop onto this little rock that's sticking out of the wall. And then here you can see I got a bit of a unfortunate situation where I got a pretty slow ledge climb there. But that's fine. Just wanna, right here, you just wanna take as tight of a line as possible around this pillar. When you're on this slope, you wanna try to run horizontally with the slope and not up the slope. Yeah. Then right here, you can either sprint jump off or you can do a crouch hop. Crouch hopping here is really easy. But if you're not comfortable with it, just sprint jump. Then right here, there's a bit of a thing here where you want to sprint jump until, or not sprint jump, crouch sprint until this construct notices you. If you don't, if you just full sprint from maybe right about here, the construct will spot you twice and won't start moving towards you. So here, hit this construct 3 times. Run towards these spicy peppers. Try to pick up only 2. You can't pick up 3. It just loses a little bit of time in the menuing. So ideally try to pick up 2, but if you try to pick up 2 and you seem to be missing 2 and just getting 1, just pick up all 3. Gonna cook these. Then eat them. Eating in this game is really weird because you sometimes get lag while menuing, which will cause this prompt not to show up when you click A. So if you get lag like I did here, it's a bit hard to see, but once you've done enough runs, you will be able to spot it. So if you get lag, you should wait a little bit before eating. I didn't here, which was probably stupid, but I got the prompt, so I didn't lose any time. So after that, just normal sprint until you hit this little thing and then start crouch sprinting. Sprint jump up this and then try to move forward. Sometimes you'll grab onto the wall. It's not that big of a deal if you use stamina like I did, because you will have enough to do 1 wall jump. Ideally though, you wouldn't want to grab onto the wall, but just Run here, optimize your stamina, shield surf. And right here, you want to jump, because shield surfing on rocks is slow and it loses your ability. So just jump. Once you hit the snow, you should get a fair amount of speed from the slope. Then try to optimize your jump so you hit the slopes, as many slopes as possible. It's a bit hard. But after that, I'm going to talk to this construct. And right here, you don't want to just press B. You want to press down and then press A. That will cause you to be able to, well, talk to this guy faster and say goodbye to him. Then spam through these. Take the battery. And here, there's a couple ways of activating the fan. I like doing this, it's just the most consistent. You can run over here to the right and then just do a normal slash run to this, but sometimes you get airtime and that cancels your slash. So I find this the most consistent. You want to make sure that you're only hitting one of these logs. If you hit in between the logs, your sword will break and that will lose you a little bit of time later on. So once you're about here, I'm gonna start running. I played it a bit safe here. You could probably jump a bit earlier, but yeah. Here you just want to sprint and then jump off this rock, so you run in the snow as little as possible. Here, just try to jump over as much snow as you can. Make sure you don't lose your stamina though while jumping. Run up these stairs. And make sure you have enough stamina for 2 wall jumps right here. I try to have full stamina, but just having enough for 2 is fine. So if you get a little step up, like the Link jumps a bit before you start climbing, you want to do 1 up and 1 upright. If you don't, you just want to do 2 up. So here, sprint on the snow until you hit the rock, then start crouch sprinting, trying to take this line. You don't want to go on this rock, because that will cause you to get a bunch of step up animations, which are slow. So just crouch sprint, make sure you have full stamina at this wall, and then just jump upwards twice, wall jump upwards twice. Then just crouch sprint. Right here is normal ground, so you want to hop off this while running and shield surf to optimize your speed as much as possible. Jump up here, make sure you have enough for 1 wall climb here as well. And jump off the wall. Sometimes you don't even grab onto the wall, and that saves a fair amount of time, maybe like a second or something. But it's really inconsistent. There's no like strategy for it, so make sure you just have enough to wall jump up. Then right here, I failed this. You don't want to take this tight of a line like I did. You want to run a bit more left and then run out on this little this like wall. You can run pretty far on it, like right here, and then you want to jump and shield surf so you land on the snow over here. I didn't get a sprint jump here. I got a normal jump, which wasn't enough to put me over. This was like best case scenario for failing this, because I stepped up immediately, but I still took half heart of damage, which loses 1 second at the end of the Ascent Shrine, because Link will have to regen his heart, and that's an animation that takes, I think, 40 frames. So after that, once you have full stamina, walk up this wall. Walk towards this wall, make sure you get the little hop here. If you don't, just press B and redo it. Do 3 thrusts and then wait for 4 arm movements. see, 4 armor movements. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then press X again. Now, stand in about this spot. Once you have about 7/8 of your stamina back, you can start walking towards the wall. I do it a bit too early here, so I don't regen my stamina fully. Want to make sure you do that. Do 3 upwards ball jumps and 1 up left one. Then you want to try to aim link towards the shrine and hold your shield. Holding shield it's faster to hold your shield out when walking in this game by a little bit. So you want to try to do that as much as possible if you don't have any stamina. So do this, walk up here. After you go over this little ledge, just want to jump and shield surf. Then start running here. Jump onto this wood. You don't want to just run up it because it will cost Link to get a step animation which is slow, so just sprint jump up. Then sprint jump again, and you want to shield surf here. I don't shield surf, I don't know why, maybe I missed my input, but maybe it was because I got this run at 4 AM. But yeah, you wanna jump and shield surf right here. Then you just wanna use your stamina, run, press A on this. Then after you enter the Ascent Shrine, this shrine is really easy. You just wanna mash through this cutscene basically. Then stand up here. Stand again. Here's the only a little bit tricky part of the shrine. Because of this bow construct, it can hit you sometimes, but you just want to try to run left and then start crouch sprinting. If you're too fast here, if you just full sprint, sometimes it would shoot its arrow while you're slicing and while you're standing still, so that can cause you to get hit. But as long as you just crouch sprint a little bit to lose a little bit of time intentionally, it shouldn't hit you. Run over here, ascend. And this is why this shrine is so easy, because it's cycle based. So you can do it unoptimally and not lose any time. Right here, I like to hold my shield out and watch for Link's right foot to be off the edge. Then press ascend, and timing's a bit different, I think, depending on if you're on physical or digital. I think that physical has a bit of a longer delay. So when I was on physical, I would press A about here. But now that I'm on digital, I press A about here. So you don't want to press A as the green shows up. You want to like try to time it so you do it the frame it shows up. Because this is basically the only time save in Ascend. You just sprint towards this pedestal, press A on the final step. I do it a bit late here. I could have pressed A right here. But it took me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 extra frames to do so. So here we can just grab a drink or something because this cutscene's really long. It's about 50 seconds, a minute. So I'm just gonna skip forward. Get your orb. Wait for this cutscene. Then you wanna just mash A and B when you get out. And here is where Amiibo and no Amiibo split a little bit, just a little bit though. So you are just still gonna apply if you're not using Amiibo. So here what I like to do is, before I get out of the shrine, I like to place my NFC chip onto the scan spot on my controller. So in the middle of my Pro controller. I like to do that before I I exit the shrine. Then you want to hold right, jump before you hit the snow, and then shield surf at the peak of your jump. I do it maybe a bit late here. I do it a bit late so I don't get all the speed, but you want to do that. Shield surf, ascend right here. And if you're using amiibo, right here, switch to your amiibo rune. And the amiibo you want to scan is Twilight Princess Link. Not Wolf Link, but the anniversary Twilight Princess Link. You want to scan that right here. So you should already have your NFC chip on your controller. And you choose your amiibo rune. And right here, if you already have your NFC chip on your controller, it will skip this text box immediately for you, like as fast as possible for you. When I just scan, and then what you want are these Fleet Lotus. You can see I got 3 here. 3 is, there's a 10% chance they drop and 7 items drop per scan. So I know that getting 2, which is what you need, is 15% chance. And what would 3 be? Maybe like a 5%-ish chance, which is really crazy that I got that kind of luck. Unnecessary luck in this case, but you want to get 2 Fleet Lotuses. So pick that up, try not to pick up any other items. I got them really nicely here, packed together. Now, if you only got 1 Fleet Lotus, or if you want to continue the run even though you didn't get a scan, shield shift down here. I'm really bad at this shield surf tutorial. I would recommend looking at ATC's run, which is the 2819 on the leaderboards. I would recommend looking at that for how they do this shield surf. I still haven't figured it out. It wasn't too bad. So if you didn't get enough Fleet Lotus from that scan, you want to scan right here. Right as you stop shield surfing, and you're walking forward, just scan your amiibo. If you don't though, you just wanna aim your sword with R, jump, and release while you're jumping. Throw while you're jumping. The reason you want to do this is because if you throw while you're on the ground, Link will not be able to move a bit after throwing. So you want to do that. Get onto the bird, stand with your left foot on this little triangle here. That's what I try to do. And then I try to count here. I try to count to like 4 or 5 before I start stepping towards the middle. It's also eyeballing. I'm gonna stand just slightly in front of the feet. And scanning one amiibo like I did probably loses 5 seconds to not scanning at all, but that time will be made up by the fact that you now can make speed 3 food. Slide over here. Speed jump off. And enter fuse. Mash through these text boxes. I'm gonna start running towards his sword. Um, this is also part of the reason why we threw our sword, because it will auto-equip this one. Pick that up, and then an important thing to note is that you can't crouch sprint while a two-handed weapon is out. So if your weapon is out, you want to press B and then start crouch sprinting. So for example, right here, if I were to crouch there, try to crouch sprint after I break this, I would just crouch. So go, pick up the fire fruit. I accidentally picked up 2, but you want to equip that, throw it at the chest, stand about where I'm standing right here. I'm not sure if I have any Q, but if you find any Q by looking at this frame, you can use it. So after you're standing about right here, just start mashing A, like your life depends on it. Mash like crazy. And you will open this chest before it bounces. Pick up this key, start crouch sprinting when you're halfway up the slope. Jump. You want to minimize your time in water as much as possible. The same thing that we did with snow. Open this door and start crouching. You want to try to squeeze through this little hole right here. Once Link is a little bit through, you just can start holding B. Start crouch sprinting, or full sprint, and then start crouch sprinting when you're around this corner. Jump up these stairs, then jump up the stairs and start sprinting. Here I crouch sprint for some reason. You just wanna start normal sprinting and then jump into the cutscene, because this cutscene is one of those that refills your stamina. Run to the right, like a bit to the right, so you should right just to the left of this pebble. Start crouch sprinting. Usually, when you start crouch sprinting, it will cause this guy to start shooting his bow. If you get really unlucky, he can like smack you while you're right here, and that will lose you a little bit of health and cause you to lose 1 second at the end of the shrine. So here, try to sprint jump up these little stairs. It's really tight to do it on all of them, but it's possible. So here, just spam X to skip the cutscene. Spam A and B, then spam X again. After this shrine, there is no text dialogue, so you just start sprinting immediately. Sprint a little bit forward to the left, and then what I like to do is I like to add in 1 crouch sprint here to make sure you have enough stamina. Jump and try to aim for this slope. You can shield surf down this slope. It is a bit faster, but it's also really inconsistent. There's a bunch of places you can get stuck on, and your shield durability will be used a lot, and shield durability is an issue in this run. So I just jump up here, shield surf on this little slope, and run to the left part of this cave entrance. And then, when you're about here, stop sprinting and just walk and drop down to pick up this rush room. If you sprint down, you will either not pick up the rush room or you will grab onto one of these walls. So after that, smash this rock, and again, don't start crouch sprinting until you've holstered your weapon. So here, if you're doing amiibo, like me, you want to pick up 3 rushrooms, or you need at least 2 fleet lotus seeds to get speed 3 when cooking. If you get more from the scan, if you get 3 fleet lotus seeds, you just need to pick up 2 rushrooms, but you probably only get 2, so just pick up 3 rushrooms in this cave. You need to pick up that first one while falling down. this one right here, and this one right here. Just crouch sprint and try to use all of your stamina before you ascend. So I like to try to ascend this part. You want to make sure you're not starting to use ascend while you're on these cracks, because then you'll fail the ascend and that will lose you a little bit of time. So try to ascend up that rock thing, that part of the rock. And here you just want to sprint and try to time a shield surf to land on this slope right here. This slope. Yeah. Then you want to jump to preserve as much speed as possible. Climb up this wall. Sprint, and what I do is I hug the left of this wall because there's a construct over to the left here, and if you're really slow in this segment, it will follow you to the cooking pot and it won't allow you to cook. So just try to be fast here. Try to hug this wall so the construct doesn't see you. Jump up here. This is a bit tricky. There's a bunch of like places you can get step ups and like slow down and get airtime here. If you want to make it a bit easier, you can try to sprint jump off here if you have enough stamina. Use all your stamina to the best. So you have no stamina left when you hit the spot, then pick up or hold the 5 items you want to cook. So in this case, it's 3 mushrooms, 2 fleet lotuses. Fleet loti, I don't know. Cook those. Eat your speed 3. Same thing applies here as with the spicy peppers. You can get some lag right afterwards. Then you just want to wait a little bit before eating. Just like 0.2 seconds, not like a second, just a tiny little bit. I don't do that here because I don't think I get lag. But you just want to crouch sprint, try to have full stamina when you're about here. Jump onto this rock, jump off it onto land. Then here is a really tricky part. I aim the camera up to make it easier. The same thing, you want to jump while you're in the water. I do it very late here. You want to try to... It's the reason it's hard is because you can't really see the water, so you don't know when you're in the water or not. But ideally, you want to run in here until you really see that you hit the water and then jump. If you don't feel like doing that, if you're having trouble with it, you can run to the left here. There's the bridge. I think it's about the same speed, actually. You have speed 3, but just jump here. And ideally, you want to do the buoy bounce here as well. I didn't get it though, unfortunately. Just crouch sprint, make sure you have enough stamina to cross this gap. So I jump. Sprint over to this little rock over here. Jump up it. And then right here, turn around. Hold your right stick just a tiny bit so the camera doesn't change. Press ZR, or not CR, ZL or CR. Damn, I can't remember. Well, anyways, you want to hold out your shield, walk backwards, and then do the backwards jump inputs. So this is a bit tight, it's not too bad, but basically just RBY. And then one more. You should make it onto this ledge. Here, you wanna press ascend before you hit this wall, or you will like hop up it. So press ascend like right here. And make sure you're all the way in this corner before you press A. Because this rock is a bit slanted and that's the place where you can consistently ascend. So here, just walk a bit towards this wall, and then press L to take out your ascend, and then A. Make sure you press A after you've released L, or else it can cause some issues. So there we go. Then just open the shrine. In this shrine, I do very safe tactics. So just mash through these. Remember that there's no prompt after Rory disappears, so just hold straight forwards. Do a bit of crouch sprinting, do a shield jump. You don't need to shield jump here, but it makes it so much easier. If you have speed 2, you have to shield jump. If you have speed 3, you don't. Here I do the normal strats by picking up that thing and just flipping it. You can do a slightly faster one, or there's 2 faster ones. I will show clips of them at the end of this video. Actually, I'll clip them in right now. So those are the faster methods of doing this. They are a bit harder, but they save time. The one where you triple jump, it sucks. It will lose you runs. The other one is fairly easy to do with speed 3. It's harder to do with speed 2. It's really precise. So if you don't feel comfortable, just use this strat. I don't think it loses maybe even a second, maybe loses a second. Anyways, sprint over to this palette, and then you want to press L right here. You can see I use the shadow as a cue. Once I'm like in the middle of this shadow, I press L, grab this, then I hold D-pad down just for a tiny little bit, spin the block, and then run up here. Shield surf down here, make sure you don't jump too late, and yeah, you're done with Ultrahand. So after mashing through this Roru dialogue, hold left on both your sticks and sprint. If you have speed 3, you can see I'm aiming for this triangle, this little ledge here. Then I just drop off, and you can basically get up almost immediately. If you have speed 2, you want to do the same thing, but you want to jump. So it's very similar. You could probably, with speed 3, you could probably jump, but a bit earlier. But I find this to be the most consistent way of doing it. Because if you jump too late with speed 3, you will just land on the ground and die. After doing that, use all your stamina that you have left, and then start crouch sprinting. You want to try to use all of your stamina before ascending, and you want to try to ascend after this little ledge. So just point your camera up to make sure you see where you're doing it. If you do it early here, there are stairs here, and you can only do it on about half of the spots on this little square before. So you want to just try to use all your stamina and ascend right here. then run up towards this wall and just jump up. Try to use as much of your stamina as you can and press A to examine the door. After this, you just want to hold straight forwards and do one crouch sprint to make sure you don't lose your stamina. Here, just mash X and plus during this cutscene, or you will barely even get a cutscene here if you spam. So just do that. Mash through this dialogue. And jump up this little table and try to jump as fast as you can. This is way more lenient if you have speed 3. Just try to jump as fast as you can. You can go up the left here, or you can go up the right. Going up the right is a tad bit faster, I think, but going up the left here is way easier. So you can see I lost a little bit of time here to Link starting to try to climb an unclimbable wall. This is just like a micro optimization. It's pretty hard not to get that if you're doing it fast. But just run to the door and then mash B here. So you don't even press A. And you want to mash through this dialogue. Right here. Right when your heart starts showing. So on this frame, I'm a bit slow, but you want to press plus and then minus to open your inventory and then open the map. If you just open the map, it will give you a little cutscene for opening it for the first time, but you just want to press X, minus, wait a little bit, because when you first press minus, it will go onto the map, then it will go over to adventure automatically, and then you want to press R and just hold down on your left stick. You can also tap down on your right stick to zoom out the map and make your menuing a bit faster, but I find this kind of hard to do, so I just hold straight down. Once you warped, there are two different strategies you can do here. The one I do is the safe one, but it's also the slower one. But the other one is risky because if you fail it, you will basically lose 10 seconds. So here, try to get the instant descend. Jump up here. Here I fail, look. I started sprinting. You want to start sprinting forwards around this corner. I start sprinting forwards way too early and I get stuck. Start climbing. Then I get it. Lose maybe like 3 seconds, 2-3 seconds. Then you just want to crouch sprint up here. Into the shrine. Then you want to spam X. Remember that there is no dialogue in this shrine either. So after X, just start sprinting forwards. You want to make sure that the object you're recalling is in the middle of your screen, so you don't have to move anything or move your recall ability anywhere on the screen, because that loses time, because all of the objects, including the clock hands at the end of this shrine, stop when you stop time. So call this shrine is not tied because it's also cycle based. You can see do those as fast as possible. When you're done with that, same thing applies. Right, as you can see your hearts. You can press plus, minus, wait just a couple of frames, and then press R. And now you want to hold up to warp back to the Ultrahand shrine. And same thing applies here. Hold left on both your sticks. Run off if you have speed 3, jump up if you have speed 2. Aim for this spot. And use all your stamina and start crouch sprinting. This segment is basically the same as the one after Ultrahand. Just wanna run up here. Here it's not tight at all, you just jump, run up the right here, top of the cogs. I failed this jump here, but just run. Speak to the statue. Here, you wanna mash, I only mash A here, so you don't accidentally say goodbye. So I just only mash A in the beginning, then after I get the heart I only mash B, so I don't accidentally talk to Hailey again. Then I'm gonna run around the statue and push this door. Here, you wanna just spam X and plus, skip this cutscene, and then start running forwards. Do a couple of crouch sprints and hop off this. Send up. And if you have speed 3 here, you don't need to shield surf. It's tight, but you don't need to shield surf. I shield surf because I really didn't want to lose this run, so I maybe lost. I lost the 28-10 to this, but you want to run up to this orb, touch it, and then you split on this frame right as it turns to black. So that's the run. I hope you learned something and have fun speedrunning. So you made it to the crouch sprinting segment of this tutorial. Crouch sprinting is probably the most important tech, especially in this category, and it saves just a lot of time, and it's fairly free to do once you've learned it. So, basics is crouch sprinting is exactly what it sounds like. Crouch and you sprint. The way you do it is you tap crouch and tap B, one right after another. So just like the frame after, or even the same frame I think works as well. Yeah, so once you got that down, pressing them like this, just the easy part I think. You want to move on to the second part of crouch sprinting, which is the pace at which you do it. So you want to crouch sprint at 84 beats per minute. To learn this initially, you probably want to pull up a metronome that's 84 BPM, or a song that's 84 BPM, or just anything 84 BPM. And if you do it enough, just running around like I'm doing now, you will eventually just get it ingrained in your head and you will learn it. So that's the second part. The third part is knowing when to crouch sprint. So you want to crouch sprint right after you've used all your stamina from a normal sprint, or almost all your stamina. So you want to wait, see, want to wait until I almost have no stamina left, and then right as the stamina starts refilling, you start crouch sprinting. So like that. And then you want to crouch sprint until your stamina is full again. And once your stamina is full, you want to start running again. And then you just want to repeat. There are faster sprinting methods. One is called CTGS, crouch throw tap sprinting. And it goes like this. It's fairly difficult. So basically it's just a crouch sprint, but then you press L and B right after you do the crouch and sprint input. So it's just crouch, BLB, and it's really hard, in my opinion at least, and if you fail it, it like doesn't save time, just being consistent at regular crouch sprinting. So that's my recommendation at least. If you want to play around with CTTS, you can, because it is technically faster. But yeah, that's it for this tutorial. If you have any questions you want to ask, just post them in the comments and I will probably respond to all of them. Yeah, also join the speedrunning Discord if you haven't, and I will see you when I make another one of these tutorials when the route changes in 2 weeks. See you guys.